Please subscribe the channel for more videos. We promise to keep you entertained. The next morning, when Lindsay wakes, she is scared to see the dragon shrink in size. Last night, Eliante gave him a medicine so he could be of a more compatible size. He gives her an absurd reason for his shrinkage, that to prevent cervical spondylitis, he has shrunk in size. But she believes in whatever he says, and they both now continue their journey in a forest. While on their way, Lindsay is still confused about her dream and believes it to be too realistic to be a dream. Meanwhile, Leade reaches Pallier d'Honneur and is in search of the evil dragon. Suddenly, a large brick is about to fall on him when Eliante comes to his safety. He was really impressed by her skills and requests her to become his master. She then starts the training, but she gives him a really tough training, and he almost loses his mind at it. Dragon and Lindsay now are taking a rest under a tree when a group of bandits discover and try to attack them. They decide to sell Lindsay for a high price, and a talking dragon will make them really rich. Lindsay asks Dragon for permission to kill them, but he refuses, saying killing should be avoided wherever possible. The bandits then try to threaten Lindsay, but Dragon this time gives her permission to use a tiny bit of her power. Lindsay then touches the head bandit and he falls back some distance away. The bandits surrender and take Lindsay and Dragon to their cave, where they have held many people captive. After reaching there, all the captives are released, and Dragon sends Lindsay to deliver the bandits to the nearby prison where they can turn themselves in. After Lindsay leaves, Dragon enters a strange cave to find food for him, his favorite mosses, but then falls in a tunnel there. He is now underground where he meets a strange ghost. The dragon gets really scared and starts calling Lindsay for help. The ghost tries to approach him, but he starts to run away. To which the ghost tells him, "Don't run," but he doesn't listen to him and continues running until he stomps on a trap, which shoots arrows at him. But luckily, he survives. The ghost then comes up to him and says, "Don't run, as there are traps nearby." The ghost gives him food and asks about a strange power which was present earlier above and says that it isn't human. The dragon now asks him about his identity, to which he shows him some wall drawings. The ghost is actually the god of hunting, and long years back, he descended upon this land to teach humanity hunting and how to provide for themselves. But later, when the people mastered hunting, he was forgotten. However, he wants to go out and teach hunting, but there is no one whom he can teach now. The dragon now feels bad for him and decides to be his student. They are now outside, and the god of hunting is really excited about the training. He claims that he will make the dragon an excellent hunter in 3 hours. The dragon that many people have tried to teach him many things in the past few years, but he is a loser student. The god of hunting tells him that there is nothing such as a bad disciple, only a bad master. The first part of training is physical training, so the dragon now has to do 200 sit-ups. The dragon lays on the ground and tries to do sit-ups, but is unable to, due to the spikes on his back. The next training is balancing, so now the dragon has to walk on a log and cross to the other side. But the log is made for humans to practice, so when the dragon tries to walk on it, the log breaks and he falls down. He does this over and over again, but fails. Next, the archery training, pull-ups, making traps, and even actual combat training. At last, the god of hunting uses his trump card and dodges the obstacles. Explosives are attached on the ends of the string, which will explode if touched. So he has to cross the strings and get out of it. But suddenly he starts growing back into his original size, as the effects of the medicine are now over. The bombs explode and the training fails again. The god of hunting is now crying in the corner, because it is the first time he failed at training someone to hunt. And 8 hours have already passed. However, he doesn't give up, and he can't accept the fact that he couldn't give any teaching to a student. The god of hunting then asks him to extend his claws and gives the dragon some dark magical powers. Now he tells the dragon to avoid mentioning him to others in future and then disappears. The dragon then lays down and sleeps. When in the morning he wakes up, he sees Lindsay in front of him and is very happy to see her. Lindsay tells Dragon about a city, Sleman, she found while returning back. So she suggests that Evil Dragon should capture that land and rule over it, but he denies and they are now on their way to enter the city. Just then a magic barrier stops them. The barrier is controlled by the water saint and she starts talking to them. She recognizes him as the evil dragon and threatens him not to enter the city. Meanwhile, Lindsay fuses her magic with the water and grabs the water saint, so she escapes, leaving the barrier open. They both then enter the city and the dragon decides to disguise as a circus dragon, which Lindsay denies to do at first, but later Dragon orders her. The people are now comfortable about them being in the city, and as they all leave, someone starts to tell them about the history of Suleiman. It used to be a desert earlier, when the water saint arrived and provided water, after which people started living here. They both take a room in a hotel and Dragon leaves Lindsay in the room, telling her to learn patience. Dragon goes out to find the saint and clears the misunderstanding. The saint is now hiding in the whole city, fearing the dragon, but he is able to find her every time. After a lot of hide and seek, the dragon decides to rest. Then some kids come to him and offer him an apple. The saint sees this and believes he is about to eat the kids. So she gets out and demands a one-on-one fight. But he requests her to just help him to reach back his hotel, and he doesn't intend to fight. Now she agrees and also tries to hide her identity, saying she is not the saint. But the dragon clearly saw through her and requests her to tell the saint to reinstate the barrier. The saint brings the dragon to his hotel and requests him to leave the city early in the morning. But he wanted to stay in the city for some days. He opens his room and sees Lindsay with a serious face, trying to be patient, which the dragon told her to be. They both now are about to sleep, so he then sleeps on the floor because the human bed doesn't suit him. But Lindsay also sleeps with him. At night, a shiny armored dragon is seen in the sky above the barrier, planning to attack the city tomorrow by breaking the barrier with his ghost-like friend. Later in the morning, the saint pays them a visit as a service girl and enters their room. Lindsay strikes her down on the floor and some of her water splashes. She then gets up and says that the weather is fine today, so they should leave at any moment. Now, she then shows the food provided to them, which is children's veggie leftovers from the garbage. Now Lindsay gets angry and again strikes her down on the food tray and all the food gets wasted. The saint runs away, but the dragon is now angry at Lindsay for wasting food. So he tries to discipline her not to use her power for no reason. He orders only to use powers when he commands or in self-defense. The dragon then suggests Lindsay to play with the children in the city. She first denies but later agrees to play with them. The dragon then goes out to talk with the saint and clears the misunderstanding. But when he walks out of his room, he starts drowning in the water outside his room. He drowns inside, where the saint takes him deep into the water so she can finish him and also giving up her own life while doing so. Meanwhile, Lindsay finds the other children. They all decide to search for the dragon who plays with children. Suddenly, the armored dragon attacks the city. Now Lindsay thinks that it is the dragon who plays with children, so she calls him to play with her. So on one side, dragon is deep inside the water with the saint, where he cannot even surrender because he cannot talk underwater. On the other hand, Lindsay is unknowingly going to be involved in a fight with the armored dragon, and the episode ends here. Please subscribe the channel for more videos and let us know in the comments about your favorite part of the video. Thank you for watching.